Hugh Grant plays such a perfect, creepy-ass psychopath in this movie. Let's do it. Heretic is about these two missionaries from the Mormon church. So we have Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton. Sister Paxton is a little bit shyer. She hasn't gotten anybody to convert yet, so she's setting out to get her first baptism. They start going to homes to give out information on the church, and one of the names on their list is Mr. Reed. They show up to his house, they lock their bikes outside, and they tell him, due to our faith, we can't come in unless there's a woman present, but Mr. Reed insists that his wife is home. He's just in the kitchen making blueberry pie. You can smell it, can't you? So they start to get into this discussion about religion and belief. At one point, Sister Paxton says that when she dies, she wants to come back as a butterfly and land on the fingertips of her loved ones so that they know that she's there. Conversation goes on and proceeds to get more and more uncomfortable. Mr. Reed is just raising some really strange questions. He starts talking about polygamy, and they get even more unsettled when he steps out of the room and Sister Barnes notices that the smell of the blueberry pie is coming from a candle. They try to get up and leave, but the front door is locked and their cell phones have no signal. They end up finding Mr. Reed in his study, which is made to look exactly like a church, and they lie to him that they got a phone call and have to go back to the church. But he's like, I know you're lying because phones don't work in here because I have metal in the walls, and I told you that when you walked in. Then he begins this incredible monologue about religion. And essentially he talks about how every single religion is derived from one true religion. They all have the same aspects, they just twist them a little bit to be a bit different. He compares it to different variations of the game Monopoly, so he compares the different Bibles to the different games. He tells the girls that he has found the one true religion. He also tells them that the front door is latched and won't open again till morning, so if they want to leave, they have to go out the back door. There are two back doors, and on one he writes belief, and on the other he writes disbelief. And he says, I want you to choose which door you're going to go through depending on if you still believe in God after what I've just said to you, or if you don't. Mr. Barnes specifically starts to challenge him and questions the points that he's bringing up, and ultimately they decide that they're going to stay true to their faith and go through the belief door. But it doesn't matter because turns out the doors do not lead to the outside, they both lead to the same place, and it is this dungeon-like basement. As they get down there, this woman with this veil over her emerges. Now, Mr. Reed is able to intercom into the basement so he can still speak to them, and he tells them that this woman is the prophet. The prophet is about to eat the pie in front of her, which is poisoned, and she's going to die, which she does in front of them. But Mr. Reed insists that she's a prophet and you're about to witness her resurrection. He gets distracted when he hears the doorbell ring, and the girls hear it too and go up the stairs, but the doors are now locked. But it turns out it's one of the elders from their church coming to look for them. While he's distracted, the girls are able to get matches from underneath the door, and they go down and try to start a fire to alert the elder that they're down there. Sister Paxton notices that the position that the prophet dropped dead in is now a little bit different. And as they're trying to light the fire, they are startled when the prophet does indeed come back to life. The prophet proceeds to give a prophecy explaining the afterlife, and she ends it by saying, it's not real. Mr. Reed comes down and he's like, I told you, you witnessed a miracle, you witnessed a resurrection. Sister Barnes challenges him and she's like, I had a near-death experience. I died for a few minutes, and everything that the prophet just described is exactly what happens when you have that kind of experience. She's not impressed and she continues to push and challenge Mr. Reed. At this point, we see that the girls have a letter opener that they found, and Sister Paxton has it, and they plan that when Sister Barnes says a certain word, Sister Paxton is supposed to attack and stab Mr. Reed. So Sister Barnes says the word, but before she can fully get it out, Mr. Reed stabs her in the throat. And he tells a terrified Sister Paxton, don't worry, she's going to rise from the dead. Sister Barnes falls to the ground, presumably dead, and Mr. Reed goes up to her and cuts an incision into her arm and starts digging through it. It's really fucking gross. At one point he pulls out a vein. He finds a little metal object inside of her arm, and he claims that this is a microchip and it proves that she is not real. That the world that they're currently in is a simulation, and when he kills these people to bring them back to life, that's how you come out of the simulation. Sister Paxton starts to now challenge him, and she's like, first of all, that's a contraceptive, you fucking idiot. She also calls him out for orchestrating this whole thing and it all being fake. Because she's like, I noticed that the prophet's body was in a different position. So when we went to the top of the stairs, when the elder rang the door, you came and you switched the bodies. So the prophet that actually died, her body is hiding somewhere and she never actually came back to life. You gave her this scripted prophecy that she was supposed to say, but she went off script and said it's not real, which was a hint to us that this whole thing is orchestrated by you. Sure enough, Sister Paxton finds a trap door in the ground that she opens and finds the first prophet's body at the bottom. She climbs down, and Mr. Reed looks down at her and tells her that she is about to find the one true religion, and he closes the door on her. So Sister Paxton proceeds to go through this maze, and there are these symbols drawn everywhere, and eventually she comes to this door that has her bicycle lock on it, and she has the key in her pocket. And when she gets in there, she discovers that there are all of these women being held in cages. They're all emaciated and obviously being held captive, and then Mr. Reed comes in. He assures Sister Paxton they chose to be here. Kind of like, you chose to believe that my wife was actually here making a blueberry pie, and you chose to believe this door was going to lead you to the outside. With all this that you've learned, what is the one true religion? And it's at this point that Sister Paxton realizes the point and says the one true religion is control. Mr. Reed thinks he's won, and he comes up behind Sister Paxton, but she proceeds to pull out that letter opener and stab him in the throat and make a run for it. She's trying to get through this maze, and she ends up back in the dungeon where she is cut off by Mr. Reed, who then stabs her in the stomach. Mr. Reed crawls towards Sister Paxton to deliver the final blow, and she prays as they both bleed out. He basically taunts her, saying prayer doesn't work. She says, I know, but I think it's beautiful to pray for others and think about them. As Mr. Reed goes to kill her, he is stabbed in the head by this table chair with nails sticking out of it. It turns out Sister Barnes was still barely clinging on to life, and with her final breath, she killed this motherfucker. She just looks at Sister Paxton and drops dead. Sister Paxton is finally able to get out of the dungeon and make it out a window, and she runs outside. The final shot that we get is this butterfly landing on her fingertip like she said she wanted to do when she died earlier. We can presume that this is Sister Barnes, and the movie ends.